Our co-founder and CEO, Kirsten Lodel, saw a problem she wanted to address. She was volunteering in New Haven at a children's services program. She was struck by the absence of services for the parents of the children in those programs. So she envisioned a single center in a neighborhood where whole families could receive the support they needed to move themselves ahead. Helping families helps children, and thus Lift was born. Today, Lyft serves thousands of people in its centers in Boston, Chicago, New York, LA, Philadelphia, and Washington. Our model has grown into one that not only provides access to resources, but also allows families to tap into a network of support and gain the confidence that they need to stay on their journey towards stability. We have certainly evolved from where we began and learned a great deal along the way. But the core of our work remains the same. We are a people-centered, people-powered movement. We have an ambitious goal. We aim to drive meaningful change in the way we deliver social services in this country. Sadly, the war on poverty has not worked. We spend more than $1 trillion a year delivering social services in the United States. But despite that, nearly half of our neighbors live paycheck to paycheck, and 1 in 6 live in poverty. At Lyft, we have set out to prove that our approach to helping people striving for a better future, an approach based on strong personal, social, and financial foundations, is the approach that other stakeholders, including government, should adopt. But we know we cannot affect the kind of change we want on our own. We need to engage with people like you, thought leaders, community partners, investors, and others to join us on this ambitious mission. First, we are cost-effective. Because we do much of our work by training passionate and smart college students as our advocates, we not only deliver a more customized and personalized experience to the people that come through our doors, we do it at a fraction of what it costs other institutions, including government. In fact, it costs Lyft less than $1,000 per year to work with a family. Second, because Lyft is focusing not only on the financial foundations people need in their lives, like jobs and income, but also on the personal skills and social networks they bring to the table, we are equipping people with tools like self-confidence and knowledge of resources that they need to navigate tough times in the future. Finally, feedback from the people we work with informs the evolution and innovation of our model. Our constituent voice evaluation program applies the most tried and true principles of excellent customer service, developed in the for-profit world, to our work fighting poverty. The voices of our families are at the heart of how we evaluate our impact, and at the heart of the kind of systems change we want to push for more broadly. What makes Lyft effective is our ability to leverage our volunteers into a powerful workforce of trained, skilled, empathetic advocates for our families. More than 700 volunteers average nearly 100 hours of service each, resulting in 70,000 total hours of service. Our advocates put nearly $1.5 million worth of workforce value back into our neighborhoods. We are also evaluation-driven. At Lyft, we are constantly trying to improve and innovate to help our families build the strong personal, social, and financial foundations they need to move forward. In fact, our current program model is born out of us drilling down into more than 13 years of data to determine what aspects of our model were best correlated with levels of family success. Lyft has served nearly 100,000 families since we began. Last year alone, we generated $13.7 million in wage increases, tax refunds, public benefits, and housing assistance for our families. We've put, on average, about $1,300 back into the pockets of the people we work with. These are just a few of the measures we use to evaluate our impact in the community. Because the families we work with lead their own goal-setting process, we don't measure success against a set of predetermined outcomes. We are deeply invested in evaluating our long-term impact on the economic stability and even mobility of families. We have identified a number of well-being indicators that demonstrate that the change we hope to see for families by the end of a sustained engagement with Lyft, including financial factors like increased income and secure housing, social factors like whether people know where to turn for help, and personal factors like whether people report feeling optimistic about their future and confident in their own ability to advocate for themselves. At the core of our evaluation is an emphasis on constituent voice, a programmatic tool modeled on how for-profit companies determine customer satisfaction. Lyft will utilize this feedback data to inform program design and improve overall performance. There's a common misconception of who the people we work with at Lyft are. Our societal images of who is poor and what it takes to get ahead in this country are often misunderstood. Images of welfare queens and people just picking themselves up by their bootstraps. Somehow, we seem to have decided that the answer to getting over the inevitable shaky ground moments in life should be different for a person of economic privilege than it is for a person of low or moderate income. It's something about them, a personal failure of some kind. But it's not. When we are honest with ourselves about what it has taken in each of our own lives to get through crisis or to achieve success, it's a mix of confidence, connections, and resources. I'd ask you to think about your own journey and the inevitable bumps along the way. Whether it's facing a health challenge, a divorce, or a professional crisis, that feeling of, how can I possibly get through this, is something we all go through, regardless of race, or socioeconomic status, or neighborhood. It's a human feeling. At Lyft, that's what we want people to connect to. If Lyft can play a role in correcting some of these misperceptions about people who are struggling in this country and what they need to get through that struggle, we can start to affect meaningful change. We've had some incredible achievements over the past year alone. We generated $13.7 million in wage increases, tax refunds, and public benefits and housing assistance for our families. With the addition of our Los Angeles office, we now operate from the East Coast to the West Coast. We also launched a key element of our systems change work with the development of Lyftopolis, our simulation of the modern social service system, which immerses participants in an experience focused on the realities of navigating an overburdened system frequently restricted by red tape. Some people have wondered whether volunteers, many of whom are passionate college students, can truly make a difference in this work. Our answer is yes, they can. Our advocates are rigorously trained partners and problem solvers who work side by side with the families we're working with. They receive nearly 70 hours of ongoing training throughout the year. Lyft also recruits community advisors. These are people we formerly worked with, retirees, corporate professionals, to volunteer in Lyft offices through ongoing or specialized engagements based on their particular areas of expertise. In addition to this, our advocates are tech-savvy, relentless, and dedicated. They are at the heart of our people-centered model. With additional resources, we would work with more families to lift themselves out of poverty for good. We would invest heavily in evaluating our impact to prove that our work to help people strengthen the personal, social, and financial foundations they need to move their lives forward is a scalable and cost-effective model. We would make our simulation of navigating the social services system, Lyftopolis, available to a broader range of influencers at the local, state, and federal policy levels. This would accelerate our systems change work so that those in positions to influence or change policies and practices can more deeply understand what it takes to lift people out of poverty for good. We would expand Lyft to more neighborhoods in the cities we operate in, so that Lyft becomes a social services hub in those metro areas, offering more comprehensive and robust services to more families. People and agencies in the social services system are overburdened by caseloads and restricted by bureaucratic red tape. Despite the best of intentions, many are unable to provide the kind of one-on-one, personalized assistance that is most effective in helping people tackle challenges. Lyft can help. Lyft can supplement the limitations of the current system by serving as a more formal referral partner to these agencies, thereby increasing their capacity to provide better service to their constituents. Additionally, we can serve as thought partners to agencies that want to integrate some of the efficiencies, customer service best practices, and technology solutions that Lyft has developed.